We are living in the most challenging time in modern history for the average man when it comes to dating. This isn't an exaggeration. It's not pessimism. It's a cold, harsh reality. And what's behind this isn't just the evolution of technology or changes in social roles, but something much deeper. Modern hypergamy has mutated, and if you don't understand how it works or how to adapt, you'll be left behind. Today, I'll explain why. If you're an average man, it's increasingly difficult to attract a woman, and what the only real way out is if you want to reverse this situation. 1. It's a millennia-old evolutionary instinct, a biological tendency that makes women, consciously or unconsciously, seek a man who is above them in certain key areas: social and professional status, leadership ability, emotional and financial security, strong masculine traits, future potential. For centuries, this was balanced by the natural limitations of the environment. Women chose among the men in their close surroundings: friends, classmates, neighbors, family acquaintances. But all that changed radically starting in 2010 with the explosion of social media. 2. Social media and the collapse of the sexual market. Today, thanks to Instagram, TikTok, Tinder, and dozens of other apps, an average woman receives attention from hundreds or thousands of men every week. In 1990, Natalia knew the boys from her school, her neighborhood, and maybe someone who approached her at a party. In 2024, Noelia has 30 new messages on Instagram each week, 100 matches on Tinder in just 5 days, 10 men reacting to each story, and an invisible army of simps validating her ego every day. It's not that there are more men. It's that now women have access to the top 1% of men, at any time, from anywhere. And the worst part is, they don't have to make an effort. The result? The average man has ceased to be attractive, not due to a lack of real value, but because he has become invisible in a hypersexualized and oversaturated market. 3. The decline of the average man and the rise of the simp. This new landscape has produced a worrisome phenomenon. Average men have become desperate, and desperation is the opposite of attraction. Many men, like all the photos, give excessive compliments without receiving anything, send messages without getting a response, are always available, apologize for existing, accept mistreatment just for a crumb of attention. They have lost their masculine polarity. They have been emasculated. They have become nice guys without identity. And this makes them invisible, or worse yet, repulsive. 4. What she says versus what she does. Surely you've heard this phrase 1,000 times. I want a good man who understands me, who prioritizes me, who loves me unconditionally. But then you see who they end up with. Spoiler, it's not the good guy. The case of Kaká, the Brazilian footballer, sums it all up. Millionaire, attractive, religious, responsible family man. And still, his wife left him for being too perfect. Too perfect? No. What she meant was, too predictable, too available, too good. Because deep down, female attraction doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion. And a constant and stable emotion, without challenges, becomes boring. That's why a deep part of a woman longs for a man who has his own axis, his own life, who doesn't need her. 5. The myth of the gentleman and the truth about masculinity. Hollywood lied to you. The narrative of the good guy who gives everything and ends up with the girl is an illusion. In real life, attraction doesn't reward servile kindness. It rewards independence, ambition, security. It rewards polarity. A woman doesn't want an emotional clone. She wants a complement. Someone capable of setting boundaries, having his purpose, not wavering at the first drama. She wants a man with authentic masculine energy, who doesn't make her his center but invites her to accompany him on his path. And here's the most important point. You're not here to fix her insecurities. You're here to build your empire. 6. Pre-selection and the power of social circles. Another key concept you must understand. Women are more attracted to men who are desired by other women. This phenomenon is called pre-selection, and it's one of the oldest principles in human behavior. When a woman sees that you have attractive female friends, are socially validated, are surrounded by women who respect or flirt with you, she automatically perceives you as someone of higher value. And this is not about cheating or being disloyal. It's about building a rich social life, a solid identity, and a desirable image. A man with options doesn't kneel before anyone. A man with alternatives doesn't get desperate. And that is deeply attractive. 7. Showing neediness. Losing power. In every human interaction, the person with less need has more power, and in modern relationships, men are giving up that power due to emotional neediness. They beg, they chase, they accept anything, and that makes them disposable. Real power is born from detachment, from having a life so rich, so focused, and so valuable that you don't need to convince anyone to stay. If you leave, let it be felt. If you're respected, it's because you respected yourself first. 8. Focus on yourself. The path of the relentless man. Here lies the only real way out of this modern chaos. Invest in yourself. Build your body, your career, your mind. Develop your charisma, your independence, your social network. Because while women often reach their prime between the ages of 18 and 28, a high-value man ages like wine. Your prime will be between 30 and 40. That's when your career stabilizes, when your presence carries more weight, when you have options, experience, money, power, and that's not achieved through likes or sweet talk. It's achieved through action, discipline, and relentless drive. 9. Conclusion. Stop believing fairy tales and wake up. Stop chasing the fairy tale. Stop being the simp chasing validation. Masculinity is not violence, but it's not submission either. It is direction. It is purpose. It is power. The right woman doesn't need you to kneel. She needs you to rise and walk with strength. So take this truth as a wake-up call. You are not less because not every woman likes you. You are more when you choose not to give yourself to just anyone. Build your best self, not for them, for you. 10. Understand the polarity game. Masculine versus feminine. Here's an uncomfortable truth that few men dare to accept. You cannot attract the feminine if you don't embody the masculine. And masculine doesn't mean shouting, ordering, or dominating by force. It means having direction, purpose, and inner conviction. It's the energy that doesn't waver, that doesn't doubt in the face of chaos. It's the energy that leads and holds steady without needing to control. The problem today is that many men have lost that polarity. They live seeking approval, trying to adapt, to fit in, to not bother. And that energy doesn't attract, it repels. Because the feminine needs an opposite pole to awaken. It needs to know it can rest in your direction, not that you get lost in its validation. That's why the man who lives to please gets ignored, while the man who lives for his purpose becomes the most powerful magnet there is. 11. The silent construction of the high-value man. Maybe you don't see it now. Maybe you're still battling insecurities, scarcity, frustrations. But I promise you one thing. Every day you choose to build yourself, you're getting closer to becoming that relentless man. The one who doesn't need to chase. The one who doesn't have to justify his worth. The one who doesn't compete for attention because his energy draws it in naturally. And here's the key. You're not building yourself for a woman. You're building yourself for you. Because even if one day someone betrays you, leaves you, or lets you down, nothing you've built is lost. Your body, your mind, your growth, your empire. You keep it all. That's why every hour at the gym, every book you read, every boundary you set, every time you choose silence over begging, it's a silent declaration. I'm becoming the man I deserve to be. 12. The final message is not advice, it's a warning. If you've made it this far, I'm going to tell you something that's not cheap motivation. It's a serious warning. The world won't adapt to you. No one will stop to recognize you for what you could become. If you don't forge yourself, you'll be left behind. Time passes, life doesn't wait, and men who don't take control end up enslaved by a life of desperation, neediness, and emotional crumbs. But you won't be that man. Know why? Because now your eyes are open. You've already seen what lies behind the modern attraction system. You now understand that love, attraction, respect, they are earned, not with promises, but with presence, power, direction, and purpose. So starting today, make a decision. Make your story one of transformation. Don't be the guy waiting for love. Be the man who inspires it. Closing. Emotional call to action. If this message touched you, challenged you, or made you think differently, leave a comment saying, "I'm building my empire." So I'll know who the real men are, those committed to their evolution. And if you want to continue down this path, watch this next video where we talk about how to activate your masculine energy and stop being invisible to women. Click now. It's time to stop begging and start ruling.